Have you ever dreamed of speaking a new language fluently, but felt overwhelmed by where to begin? Today, we're sharing practical and science-backed methods to help you master any language faster and more efficiently. Okay, hi guys. So, learning a new language, it's kind of terrifying, right? Like all those verb conjugations, weird spellings, and don't even get me started on the pronunciation, it's a whole thing. But low-key, being able to connect with people in a different language, so cool. And it's totally doable, even if you're starting from zero. We're gonna break it down step by step, and I promise it's not as scary as it seems. Okay, so first things first, we gotta talk about goals. Setting clear goals is like having a roadmap for your journey. And no, I don't mean those vague oh, I wanna learn Spanish someday kind of goals. Those are more like dreams, not goals. I'm talking about specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. You know, the kind that you can actually track and measure. Yeah, I know it sounds kind of extra, but trust me on this. Having clear goals can make a huge difference in your motivation and progress. Instead of being all, I want to learn French, think about why you want to learn it. What's driving you? Do you want to travel to Paris and actually understand what people are saying? Imagine the joy of ordering a croissant in perfect French. Do you want to watch French movies without subtitles? What's the dream? Maybe you want to enjoy French cinema in its purest form. Once you know your why, you can set a goal that's actually attainable. This clarity will keep you motivated. For example, instead of I want to be fluent in French, maybe your goal is, I want to be able to hold a 5-minute conversation in French about my favorite hobbies within 3 months. This makes it more manageable. See the difference? It's specific, it's measurable, and it has a deadline. This way, you can track your progress and stay on course. And here's the thing about goals, they need to be realistic. Setting the bar too high can be discouraging. Don't expect to be fluent in a week. That's just not practical. That's just setting yourself up for failure and disappointment, and nobody wants that. It's important to be kind to yourself in this process. Start small, celebrate the wins, and gradually work your way up to those bigger goals. Each small victory will build your confidence and keep you moving forward. All right, so you've got your goal set, you're feeling motivated. Now it's time to actually start learning. This is where the real journey begins, and it's going to be an exciting one. And the key here is immersion. Immersing yourself in the language is like diving into a pool. You need to be surrounded by it to truly learn how to swim. Surround yourself with the language as much as humanly possible. This means integrating it into your daily life in every way you can think of. Think about it. How did you learn your first language? It wasn't through formal lessons or textbooks. You were literally immersed in it from day one. You were surrounded by people speaking it, and you absorbed it naturally. You heard it constantly. You saw it written down. You started mimicking sounds. It was unavoidable. This natural immersion is what made you fluent. Now, I'm not saying you have to move to a different country to learn a new language, although that would be kind of epic. But there are other ways to create that immersive experience. But you can create a similar immersive environment right at home. Your home can become a mini immersion hub with a few simple changes. Start with the easy stuff. Small changes can make a big difference. Change your phone's language settings. This is a simple yet effective way to get used to seeing and using the language daily. I know it sounds scary, but you'll be surprised how quickly you adapt. It forces you to think in the new language, even if it's just for basic tasks. Plus, it's a good way to pick up basic vocabulary without even trying. You'll start recognizing words and phrases just by using your phone. Next-level movies and TV shows. These are not only entertaining but also educational. Start with subtitles in your native language, then gradually switch to subtitles in the language you're learning. This helps bridge the gap between understanding and speaking. And eventually, try watching without any subtitles at all. This will challenge your listening skills and improve your comprehension. It'll be tough at first, but stick with it. The more you expose yourself to the language, the more you'll understand. You'll start picking up on words and phrases, and before you know it, you'll be understanding more than you thought possible. It's a gradual process, but it's incredibly rewarding. And don't forget about music. Music is a fantastic tool for language learning. Music is such a good way to learn new vocabulary and get a feel for the rhythm and intonation of a language. Plus, it's just fun. Singing along can also improve your pronunciation. Create a playlist of songs in the language you're learning and listen to it while you're working out, cleaning your room, or just chilling. This way you're learning even when you're not actively studying. Okay, this is a big one, and I know it's probably the scariest part. But trust me on this, you need to start speaking the language from day one. I know it's intimidating. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to sound like a total beginner. But that's okay. Everyone starts somewhere. The more you practice speaking, the more comfortable you'll become. It's like anything else. Practice makes progress. Find a language partner, join a conversation group, or even just talk to yourself in the mirror. The important thing is to just start speaking. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Seriously. Mistakes are proof that you're learning. Embrace them, laugh at them, learn from them. The more mistakes you make, the better you'll get. One thing that helped me a lot when I was first starting out was recording myself speaking. I know it sounds super awkward, but it's actually really helpful. You can listen back to yourself, identify areas where you need to improve, and track your progress over time. Okay, let's talk about vocabulary, because let's be real, learning new words can be kind of a drag, but it doesn't have to be. There are ways to make it engaging and even enjoyable. There are actually some pretty cool techniques out there that can make it way more fun and effective. First up, flashcards. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Flashcards? How basic. But honestly, they work. They're a classic for a reason. Flashcards help reinforce memory through repetition. Plus, there are tons of different ways to use them. You can customize them to fit your learning style. You can make your own with index cards, adding personal touches that make the words more memorable. Or you can use one of the many flashcard apps out there. These apps often come with features like spaced repetition. And don't just stick to basic vocabulary words. Challenge yourself with phrases and sentences. Try learning phrases and sentences too. This helps you understand how words fit together in real conversations. That way, you'll be able to start using the language in context, making your learning more practical and useful, which is way more helpful than just knowing a bunch of random words. Context is key in language learning. Now, if you want to take your vocabulary learning to the next level, you gotta try out some memory techniques. Memory techniques can significantly boost your retention and recall abilities. One of my favorites is the memory palace technique. It's a method used by memory champions. It sounds kinda out there, but it's actually super effective. It leverages spatial memory to help you remember. Basically, you create a mental image of a familiar place, like your house or your school, and you associate new vocabulary words with different objects or locations within that space. This way, you create a vivid mental map that makes recall easier and more intuitive. So, for example, if you're trying to learn the word for dog in Spanish, which is perro, you might imagine a giant chihuahua wearing a sombrero sitting on your couch. The more bizarre, the better. Random, I know, but trust me, it works. These techniques make learning new words a lot more fun and effective. Okay, so you've been working hard, you're starting to see some progress, but now it's time to talk about the real key to language learning: consistency. Because here's the thing, you're not going to become fluent overnight. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes a whole lot of dedication. But the good news is, you don't have to spend hours and hours every day studying. Even just 15 minutes a day is better than nothing. The key is to make language learning a habit. Incorporate it into your daily routine, even if it's just for a few minutes at a time. And don't be afraid to mix things up. If you're getting bored with your textbook, switch to a podcast. If you're tired of watching movies, listen to some music. The more you enjoy the process, the more likely you are to stick with it. And finally, don't forget to track your progress. It's so motivating to look back and see how far you've come. Keep a journal, use a language learning app, or just make a note on your phone of all the new words and phrases you've learned. So yeah, learning a new language is a journey. It's going to have its ups and downs. There will be times when you feel like you're killing it and times when you want to give up entirely. But the important thing is to just keep going. Remember why you started learning in the first place. Think about all the amazing benefits that come with speaking another language. And most importantly, be kind to yourself. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to have bad days. Just don't give up. With the right methods and a bit of dedication, you can achieve your language learning goals. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share your language learning journey in the comments.